After being forced to work overtime by my boss on Thanksgiving Eve, I bought myself a large serving of smoked sausage as compensation. My parents had died when I was young, and I'd been living alone ever since graduating from college. My boss, Margaret, knew about my situation. So, while everyone else was getting ready to head home for the holiday, she dropped a thick stack of files onto my desk and coldly told me not to leave until I finished them. By the time I finally got off work, the lights in the office towers outside had begun to fade one by one. Since it was a special night, I stopped by the smoked barbecue joint on the corner that I frequented.
One large order of smoked sausage, please.
What's wrong, kid? Working overtime on the night before Thanksgiving?
Yeah, Victor. You're still working too, aren't you?
My wife already headed back to the farm for the holiday. You look like you've had a rough day, so I'll throw in a few extra smoked sausages. They're made with my own secret spice blend. The flavor's something else.
I felt a little guilty accepting free food. Then I noticed a huge black plastic bag sitting beside the counter. A strange, faintly fishy smell seeped from it.
Here, let me take that garbage out for you.
But just as my fingertips were about to touch the large black bag, Victor's hand shot out like a steel trap and clamped down on my wrist. His grip was unbelievably strong, almost crushing the bones beneath my skin. Startled, I looked up and found myself staring into a pair of eyes completely devoid of warmth. The air seemed to freeze for a second. Then Victor suddenly let go. That warm, easygoing smile returned to his face as if nothing had happened.
Now, why would I make you do that?
He said casually.
You young people work hard enough as it is. Go home, get some rest, and take care of yourself.
He handed me the sliced meat.
All right, get going. Happy Thanksgiving.
In a city as cold as this one, the strange moment from earlier was quickly buried beneath his unexpected kindness. My eyes stung a little. I blinked it away, thanked him repeatedly, and headed home. The moment I walked through the door, I collapsed onto the couch. My miserable boss never paid overtime. All she knew was how to squeeze every last drop out of me. I turned on a crime drama and left it playing in the background while updating Margaret on my work progress through my phone. For the sake of paying my bills, quitting wasn't an option. I grabbed a beer from the fridge, cracked it open, and took a long swallow. Then, I picked up one of the smoked sausages from the bag and dug in. I had to admit, Victor really knew what he was doing with his seasoning. Spicy, numbing, and ridiculously addictive. Under the dim lighting of my apartment, the dark glazed sausage looked surprisingly appetizing. Still, I had no idea where he sourced them from. They were noticeably larger than the ones sold in grocery stores. And the more I chewed, the stranger they felt. The texture was off somehow, and beneath the spices lingered that same indescribable metallic smell I'd noticed back at the shop. But considering I hadn't paid for them, I assumed they were just being given away because they were close to expiring. I didn't think much of it. It wasn't until I was halfway through the third sausage that my teeth suddenly struck something hard. Frowning, I spat it out onto a napkin. It was a small piece of bone. At first, I thought it was a fragment of pork or chicken bone that had accidentally gotten mixed in. But when I picked it up for a closer look, I realized it was unusually thick, and its shape was strangely regular.
How could there be a bone this big inside a sausage?
I muttered to myself. For some reason, I raised my left hand and held one of my fingers beside the bone. The next second, my breathing stopped. The position of the joints, the length, even the curve of it, they were almost identical. I froze where I sat, every drop of blood in my body seeming to turn to ice. With trembling hands, I looked down and tore open the remaining sausages. Chunks of smoked meat spilled out. Then, inside the cross-section of one of them, a severed human finger bone protruded from the meat. This was human bone. I bolted to the bathroom and dropped to my knees in front of the toilet. I threw up violently. My stomach churned uncontrollably. That lingering metallic smell seemed to crawl straight into my skull. Images of myself chewing and swallowing kept flashing through my mind. Only after there was nothing left to throw up did I collapse onto the cold tile floor. Then I scrambled back into the living room, grabbed my phone, and locked myself inside the bedroom. The door clicked shut. My hands shook so badly I could barely hold the phone as I dialed 911. I I had no idea how much time passed. The doorbell kept ringing, again and again. Only then did I begin to emerge from the paralysis of fear. But the bones were still sitting on the coffee table. I was too terrified to step into the living room, let alone answer the door. Then my phone rang.
Miss Tara, this is the LAPD. We're outside your residence. Could you please open the door for us?
Clutching my phone, I pressed myself against the cold wall and slowly inched my way toward the front door. When I finally opened it, 2 uniformed officers stood outside, one older, one younger, the kind of senior-junior partnership you saw all the time on the force.
You reported finding a human finger in your takeout. Where is it?
I immediately moved behind their broad frames. Then I raised a trembling hand and pointed toward the coffee table, toward the pile of bloody bones lying there. I have a bad habit. Whenever I eat, I tend to leave the trash on the coffee table and clean everything up afterward in one go. So the pile of bones I'd picked, completely clean, sat there in plain sight beneath the bright living room lights. Officer Davis turned toward me, staring in shock.
You ate it?
When I'd called 911, I'd been so terrified that I'd only said I'd found a finger in my takeout. I hadn't mentioned that I'd already chewed on it. His question made my stomach lurch again. I doubled over and dry heaved repeatedly. Officer Miller cut his younger partner off with an annoyed look.
Well, no kidding. Who orders takeout just to sit there and stare at it? Don't be scared, ma'am. It's probably just a piece of animal's bone. Food processing plants aren't exactly known for perfect quality control these days.
But the moment he slipped on a pair of latex gloves and picked up one of the finger bones for a closer look under the light, whatever reassurance he had been about to offer died in his throat. His expression changed instantly. The casual calm vanished. What replaced it was grim professionalism.
Call ME's office, now. I think someone in this city has been dismembered.
Davis immediately reached for his radio and relayed the request. Despite himself, he glanced at me with unmistakable sympathy. Finding something like this in your food on the eve of Thanksgiving, for anyone else, it would probably leave a psychological scar for the rest of their life. While we waited for the medical examiner's team to arrive, Officer Miller pulled out a notebook and began asking me basic questions. Where had I bought the food? What time exactly? What did the owner look like? Had anything unusual happened in between? When he learned that the smoked sausages had been given to me for free by Victor, something in his expression shifted.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but these days even decent frozen meat from a grocery store costs well over $10 a pound. Prepared specialty meat like this costs even more. So why would someone in a city where everything has a price mark suddenly give it away for free?
The question caught me completely off guard. I shrank back instinctively.
Victor told me it was late, and whatever didn't sell tonight would end up in the trash tomorrow anyway. And I'm a regular customer. Sometimes he gives me leftovers or cuts that aren't selling.
My heart hammered against my ribs. I waited anxiously for the officer's response. But Miller simply looked at me for a long moment. Then, he closed his notebook and said nothing. That silence made me feel even worse. My chest tightened with panic. Why was the officer looking at me as though I were the suspect? A little while later, Officer Miller's phone rang. He stepped into a corner of the living room to answer it. I could vaguely hear fragments of the conversation. Holiday tonight. Still haven't located him. Nothing at the property. When he finally hung up, he strode back toward me. The look in his eyes had changed.
Tara, are you absolutely certain you bought that meat tonight from Victor's Texas Smokehouse on 5th Street? Is there any chance you've been working too much lately? Any chance you're exhausted enough to have mixed things up? Maybe you bought it somewhere else and misremembered?
Absolutely not. That's the only place I ever buy takeout from. My boss, Margaret, practically insisted I try it. Ever since then, whenever I work late, I go there.
Miller took a slow breath.
Ma'am, we just received a report from officers in the field. The restaurant you're talking about has been closed for the last 3 days.
The words hit me like a